Welcome again, everyone. It's February 2015. This is the introduction to the February zodiac readings, which I do for each of the 12 signs. And this month I wanted to focus particularly on the issue of creativity, which is what we call a fifth house matter in the scheme of astrology. And it's interesting, I've talked about this before, that fifth house relates to children along with creativity. And few astrologers actually draw a connection between this fifth house and the 12th house. Now let me explain. The 12th house, in contrast to the fifth house of creativity, is associated with self-sacrifice. The 12th house is the natural house of the sign of Pisces. It's a very spiritual house. And I wanted to draw the similarities between these two parts of the zodiac. The fifth house being the spontaneously creative area, that part of our nature which is expressive, and expressive in the sense of joy, such as painting, music, dance, cooking, gardening, literature. And it's interesting, don't you think, that children who are so free of any sort of concepts, especially in the formative years of life, seem to be in that zone naturally. And I find it interesting as an astrologer that this fifth house of the zodiac, which relates to children, also relates to creativity. So I ask, could it be that when we are childlike, when we approach the moment without any preconceived ideas, when we can actually just drop the cultural, religious, spiritual, family conditioning, that it's at that point, like children, we discover that inner child within ourselves and are able to really create in the truest sense of that word. But the area related to self-sacrifice is of interest to me too, because when you feel that compassion for another person, when you step into the shoes of another person, you are in a sense performing the same function. You are forgetting yourself. Isn't that what happens in that really true state of creativity? If you're dancing on the dance floor, you tend to forget about time. You forget about space. You're simply in that moment expressing those dance steps and expressing the joy that comes with that. Now it's interesting that self-sacrifice sometimes is not as joyful, but strangely it does land you in the same zone. You see these selfless workers in Africa, exposing themselves to disease, for example, the Ebola crisis that we have there. That's a pretty big ask. These people give of themselves, forget about themselves, in the same way a dancer forgets about themselves on the dance floor. They're coming at that zone from different angles. Fifth house, 12th house, spontaneous expression of a creative function, as opposed to the self-surrender, the self-abnegation, the forgetting of oneself through selfless acts of kindness, through spiritual acts of meditation, yoga, that sort of things. Those sorts of activities also have within them the power to release you from this sense of identity that you've held on to for so long as a result of cultural and spiritual imposition, I should say religious imposition, dogmatic imposition, this conditioning that is ingrained, and to a large extent even genetically. So I suppose the theme this month is to, gently coax you into exploring that, looking at how you can meet me over there on the other side in that zone, along with a lot of other people who are now at this stage in history, realizing the elevation of awareness and consciousness to its proper state of freedom, which is what happens when we produce something of greatness, when we are skilled in work, when we create with love and timeless passion, when we give of ourselves selflessly to others, when we help others in need. So the theme is exploration of these activities which come at that zone from very different angles, but seem to afford us the same beautiful experience. So do join me in that, and it doesn't really matter which approach you take. If you like to run a mile every day and you're able to forget yourself through long distance running, then run. If you prefer to dance, then dance. If you prefer to feed the old man on the corner who has nowhere to live, then approach it from that angle. It doesn't really matter. The key point here is forgetting yourself and stepping out of the concept of who you are to that bigger, more unlimited potential of yourself, that timeless and spaceless self. And I hope you get there, because you're already there, really. The functioning of a creative act or a selfless act simply removes the veil and affords you the opportunity to see exactly who you are in truth. This timeless, spaceless presence awareness. So good luck with that. Of course, I'm here if you want to discuss that. Leave your notes at the bottom there. Again, don't forget to join me at my website, astrology.com.au, for a whole raft of different activities and services and so on and so forth. So let's get on now with your 12 zodiac readings. I hope that will also be of help to you. Till next month, I'm Dadhichi. Take care now. Bye-bye.